that could be could be because of two needs. One is that he's ignorant of it or is not interested, and one is actually not aware of what happens behind the scenes. And another member I was talking to, he said, "What do you guys actually do? Do you get paid for this?" So there was a need to conduct this education session so that every one of us, the members especially, who are not part of behind the scenes, they could understand what happens in the club executive committee. And speaking of the person who is going to conduct this for us, the first time I interacted with our educator for today was when he used to host club the sessions at Clubhouse. It was an app which was trending during the lockdown. And that's the first time I saw or interacted with Akshay. And then the next time I met him was during the VPPR training that happens at the TLTP. And there I found out that he is actually very meticulous and he knows the subject very well. Whatever he puts his hand into, he delivers that to his optimum level. And then recently, I got to know that he served the club executive committee extensively. He had his hands not only in the roles of VPPR, of course, but he was also the SA of a club during his journey, the president, the vice president education, the vice president membership also. So to conduct the education session on the club executive committee, isn't he the best candidate among all? Don't you guys think? Yes. And just to add to his already feather full of hat, is also the current district public relationship manager. So as the vice president PR of a club, he's kind of my boss. So let's give a big round of applause and hand over the stage to distinguished Toastmaster Akshay. Over to you.
Thank you, Prathamesh. A happy evening to everyone. Hope I'm audible and clearly visible. If you can give me a thumbs up, as I see very few videos on camera. So I would see, yes, I can see a couple of thumbs up. What about other members? Devesh, Anand, Amruta, are you there? All right, so I can see a lot of thumbs up. Awesome. It would be great if you could switch on your video on this Saturday evening. We could interact with each other. No matter where you are, it doesn't really help because the spotlight is on me and in the recorded version only I would be there. So you can switch on your videos, smile as much as you want. I hope I'm clearly audible. I saw a couple of messages in the chat that I'm not audible. All right. So today we are going to demystify the club officer or the ExCom roles and the leadership roles, which we all keep hearing. But before we begin over there, I would like to know how many of us have been in Toastmasters for at least 6 months? A raise of hands if you have been in Toastmasters for at least 6 months. All right, so I should have asked the other question. How many of you have been less than 6 months in Toastmasters? Raise your hand. All right, so we have an audience who has already been part of Toastmasters for some time. All right, we have Swati who is there for less than 6 months. Club leadership roles is something which begins the very first day when you start your journey as a Toastmaster. Whether it be a simple role as speaking up, volunteering for the table topics, or taking up any kind of roles. These are the different roles which we volunteer for. And all these roles have some or other aspect of leadership involved in them. For example, the person who takes up the courage to speak up as a table topic speaker is the one who is practicing Yes, I will be there. I'll raise my hands. A leader is someone who's always up for any opportunity, any problem, or anything wherein they can contribute. So that's the first thing which we learn. Even the various different roles like timer, our counter, because you are managing that particular segment. And that's where you are not only discharging your responsibilities, but also learning at the same time and helping others learn from your experience. So I believe leadership starts right at the beginning. Well, no one really tells us that, yes, you have been a leader in the club. And during the 6 months term ending, there are a lot of different communications going across our WhatsApp groups. You will hear from members that, yes, I see something in you and I want you to apply for this particular role. That's the conversation which keeps going on. What are these roles? Are they something which is a very difficult or challenging task? Being a club leader is something which is easy, or what exactly happens? We'll see today. So before I go ahead, I would like to know how many of you have been a club leader or have been a part of club officers team? Raise your hands. I can see a lot of us are part of club leadership. We have been part of club officers. That's nice. And we still have joined yet, which means we're still looking forward to know something different, if something which we have missed or something we can contribute to. Glad that you all are here. So being a club officer is a transformative experience because you not only step up first, but you become the representative of your club. You are the person who members of the club will look up to, anyone who joins new, anyone who is interacting with your club, be it any role. All right. So it's a very interesting role and a transformative experience which you get. What are the roles you are aware of? If you can use the chat and just type in, just to know which is your favorite role, which you feel, or the role which you really are interested to do someday. Do not mention the roles which you have done. Mention the roles which you feel that you want to try it out. In the chat, if we can open the chat to all. Praveen says VP membership. Arvind says secretary. Shruti says VP public relations. There are 7 different roles which is there. Okay, president, VPPR. All right, so I see a lot of members have posted VPPR. Oh, treasurer, nice. Glad to see that members are willing up to take treasurer role as well. Awesome. VP education, secretary. Anyone else? Surgeon at arms. That role is still pending. I see all other roles which have come up. Anyone wants to do surgeon at arms role? No one in the group wants to do surgeon at arms roles. Shubhayan, thank you for mentioning that. Yes. So I would share with you all as to why I stood up and volunteered to be a club leader or take part as a club officer in my Toastmaster journey. So I joined almost in 2018, part of TCS Maitri Toastmasters Club in Mumbai. And I had heard a lot that club leadership is something which will be a very exciting journey. You get to interact with a lot of different members. And just for that aspect, wherein you get to interact with a lot of different people, is I had volunteered. And I wanted to do a role which would be an exciting. So I learned that the VP membership role is wherein you get to meet new people. You will be able to interact with them. I used to be an introvert person, so I thought this role will be enough challenging and I will get to speak and overcome my hindrances of easily communicating with people. But back then I was just new. So the members who were there, they felt that I should start in a role which is something fresh. They said, you first, Akshay, become surgeon at arms because surgeon at arms role is very critical. And as it was suggested, I took that role up. It taught me 4 different things. First, importance of time, because the surgeon at arms is someone who reaches every meeting first. They have to be there to ensure that they are able to set it up, set the resources, set the meeting venue, any kind of resources which needs to be used by the meeting role players, as well as interact. Since you are a corporate club, you have to book the rooms, you have to ensure that the resources are there, you have to coordinate with a lot of members. If you are inviting any new members or external guests who are coming to your club meeting, then you need to take permissions for them. All these different things were there. The first thing which I learned was time management, importance of time. Second thing was how the role interacts with different elements. You interact with admin, you interact with security staff. Because it made me progress further. I used to be the first person to reach along with my president, and we used to set the meeting room, used to set the resources. It gave me an in-depth insight of an organizational structure. So every role at Toastmasters definitely helps you learn something. This was my learning as a surgeon at arms. Years later, I recommended this role to one of the members in a community club. And that particular member said that in corporate, you got to learn about the organization structure and you were eager to know. What would I learn in a community? Well, the dynamics of community club was very different. Once this member has completed the role after 6 months, she said to me that this particular role helped me be punctual because I had to be the first person to reach. I had to plan my schedule in advance that I have to, if a meeting is happening, say at 12 o'clock, then I need to prepare 1 hour in advance. Second, I used to be able to interact with the venue people, understand the logistics aspect, how it works. Any event which happens in the club, I was able to plan for that. And it in turn let me learn different event management skills. So the surgeon RAM roles, I also defined it as equivalent to something which is called as event management. So the surgeon at arm role, which is the first role which anyone, if you are interested to explore, no matter what it is, but it helps you learn a lot of different skills of event management. Whether you are managing people, whether you're managing logistics, whether you're managing venue, whether you're managing time. So that's the best role if you are really interested to work upon your management skills. If you are able to manage that role and transcend your journey, then that's the skill which you will learn and you will be able to take it further. So anyone who wishes to work on their management skills, be it in personal or professional life, you should take it up. In fact, if you have some mentee or you are a mentee to another mentor, you can recommend them to take up that role. Because even if your mentee takes that role, you will constantly be interacting with them and gain an insight. As we say, right, a lot of times we have guests who keep coming to Toastmasters because they just want to listen and see. Well, the same applies to the interaction with your mentees. A mentee doing a role of surgeon at arms, you'll get to know a lot of different scenarios wherein you can collaborate and engage with your mentee to help them navigate it successfully. And that's where your skills as how to manage resources, manage your time, manage scenarios is what you learn. So I always believe if management is the skill which you are looking forward to, people do a lot of different courses, a lot of different things out there. This is the best place in Toastmasters if you wish to pursue that part. So anyone who wishes to learn that skill, you know which role to take. No matter what, in case if you are willing to, go ahead and serve in that role. Let's look at the next role which is there. which is the treasurer role. How many of you have seen or interacted with your club treasurer? Raise your hands. Arvind, Shubhayan, Prathamesh, Praveen. What about others? Have you interacted with your club treasurer? None of you? All right. Most of us pay our membership dues. Sometimes we pay to the VP membership, or sometimes we pay to our club treasurer. There is different dynamics in different clubs. Now, when we interact with a treasurer, we usually speak from the perspective of finance. In different kinds of clubs, the finance is handled differently. I'll share my experience after interacting with multiple different treasurers over the years. Corporate clubs, finance is all related to just collection of membership fee because most of the other aspects is sponsored by the corporate. College clubs, their finances are also taken care by the institution. So treasurer only looks at figuring it out, collection of fees, collection of membership dues. Community clubs treasurer need to indulge in a lot of different activities. They need to plan the budget as to how the expenses would be incurred, what would be the budget allocated to the resources, club resources, which can be, say, certificates, ribbons, if you have any kind of handouts given to guests or members, feedback slips. So you all need to budget that at the start of the year because you have initial funds which are given to you, and then you need to budget, plan for it. The other activity which the community club treasurer gets involved in is collection of fees. They need to present the budget as well as present the funds as to how it is being used to the entire members. So if you are someone who's looking to practice budgeting skills, learning how to handle funds, or just looking for enhancing their financial capabilities of managing funds or even gaining new aspects of skills in the finance domain, then this is the role which you should look for. I remember one of the treasurers I had met, and they said that they have been doing this role repetitively. It's like they have two mentees. So 1 year, one of the mentee takes the role, next year, the other mentee, and the next year, the mentor. They have been recycling this role among each other for almost now 7, 8 years. So this is one of the clubs in Bangalore wherein they have been doing this. And I asked them, what is the motivation to continuously keep taking just one role and not go for anything else? And they said very simple thing. Because over the years, when you keep managing the funds, all of them have seen that there is a difference in their budgeting capabilities. They have been able to figure out the budgets in much advance. They were able to comprehend the impact of COVID and accordingly budget the club funds. They were able to comprehend the changes in the Toastmasters membership fee which happened, and they were able to inculcate all those and plan better. So that is why they have continuously kept taking the role because these moments have helped them enhance their planning capabilities. And not only for the club funds, but they have also been able to do this in their personal lives. And that is how they felt that during COVID, there were a lot of changes. In fact, I myself realized that during COVID, their thing changed, the dynamics changed, and I had to become more strict with my funds and how these expenses are. And they said that they have been able to do. A couple of days back only, I had a word with that particular member, and they have said that Akshay, now we are not just 3 people. I have mentored a couple of more people, and they all are ready to take up these roles. So, treasurer is another role which you can take if you are interested in finance, or if you wish to learn how to plan for it, how to budget things, how to utilize the funds, wherein all you can take up things. The club leadership handbook defines the treasurer role in a particular aspect, but there are a lot more possibilities. For example, the timer role, which is there, right? Every time we do a timer role, we know that we need to time the speaker, we need to show them the cards, we need to ensure that they are within time. and express. Once you have done that role and you have mastered it without a script, you have been flawless. What next? What else you can do in that? There was this one session which I had attended, taken by a distinguished Toastmaster in Europe. She mentioned that every role has something which you can innovate. If you feel that you have been able to do that role properly, the next time you take, you can add some creativity. Why not try to use the word of the day and idiom of the day in your script? Why not, if that has happened, try to go one step further, time the entire meeting, see whether you're able to time the entire meeting. If that has also been achieved, think what next can be done, because always you can go one step further. And that learning, I feel, we can apply to all kinds of roles. So if you feel that treasurer role is limited to just managing the club finances, budgeting, ensuring that you are able to give the funds for different activities, that's the limited scope which we have. We can try to figure out what else can be done. Can we create systems within the club wherein members are doing some expense, they are creating vouchers and we are reimbursing them, establishing processes? Can we also work on maybe figuring it out what next can be done? Can we figure out ways wherein we can get extra funds, figure out avenues wherein we can do that? All these different aspects is what a treasurer can always aim to look forward to. So in case any one of you feels that this is the skill which I need to learn, then yes, you should step up as a treasurer. Anyone in the meeting room who has done surgeon at arms and treasurer role can raise their hands once. Anyone who has done surgeon at arms? All right, Jagdishwari Jila has done them. Anyone else? Divyesh has also done. Awesome. So Jagdishwari Jila, Devesh and Janil, you can unmute yourself and share which role you have done and what was the experience. Saishri has also done, I believe, treasurer. What was that one learning which you gained from that role, which you felt you would have not got it? You did not imagine when you were about to volunteer for that role that this is something which you could learn. What?
No, I have done it many times, but when it was specifically, I will tell you about a particular contest that I was responsible for Solicited Arms. So my job is to there was a table topic session. So my job is to uh, tackle hold the teams to a particular spot, and that they should not come into the main room in which the table topic session was ongoing, so they could not listen to the topics or something was like that. So there was an opportunity to handle those members who are much more senior than me in Toastmasters. And a second time I was being in surgical arms that mistakenly I went to toilet for I went for washroom to use the toilet, and someone came me कि it's not allowed for surgeon arms to move in between and go to toilet. So I think, oh, I've done it. So I came back and someone told me, okay, now you know, then now please don't go. So it's only like around this year in this membership I've started in Toastmasters. Before I have attended few meetings as a guest, and my experiences were great. And in my Udaipur Toastmaster Club, they are telling me just that you should take some roles. So I'm here to understand each and every role. Thank you. Over
Thank you.
to host.
Thank you, Janil. Thanks for sharing your experience as a surgeon during contest. Yes, the surgeon role got transcended. In fact, when pandemic came and everything went online, the surgeon roles became a lot more complex because back then the surgeon have to manage the Zoom meeting. They need to ensure that they are allowing the right set of members inside the meeting. They're ensuring that no one speaks during the meeting is going on, no one is moving. That time the role got a lot more complex and a lot of surgeon are trying to figure it out. And a lot of members stepped forward. They tried to design guides. They're trying to figure out how this role can be done. So definitely, yes, that particular role helps you learn a lot of different experiences comes into that role. And these learnings helps us gain new skills. Let's ask Jagdishwari Jila, what was her experience? And what is that one thing which you learned, which you felt you could have not learned before doing that role? Jagdishwari, are you there?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Uh, Thank you, Toastmaster Akshay, for giving me an opportunity to speak. So, the one thing which I can tell that I got to learn from treasurer role is that how to manage the club funds. And if at all we use our club funds to buy anything, we need to maintain that in our club budget Excel. If at all any club member pays the fees, we need to mention there. And what all profit we are getting, what are losses we are getting, we all maintain that in that Excel.
Awesome.
So means main thing I can say is budget planning. I can say.
Got it. Thanks, Jagdishwari. So
I
definitely,
actually I wanted to tell sorry. Actually,
yeah,
I
tell me.
wanted to tell whatever I learned is from my club member only. So
Okay.
it is because of him only. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Jagdishwari. Indeed, the treasurer role, we always feel that it is something very new, manage the finances and all. But what each finance has been used to buy or what has been bought, all those record maintenance, you'll become meticulous in maintaining those records. So that is another skill which you learn from that. Thanks, Jagdishwari, for pointing it out. Let's move to the next role, which is the role of secretary. Anyone who has done the role of secretary, please raise your hands. All right, someone new who has not yet spoken, who has done the role of secretary. All right. Shruti has done the role. So before I ask Shruti to share her experience, would like to know what do you feel the role of secretary does based on your understanding? Because all these leaders in our club, we keep interacting with them. Since all of you have mentioned that you are more than 6 months in Toastmasters, you must have interacted with the secretary of your club once upon a time. So what was your experience? What does this role player does or this club leader does? Anyone, anything in the chat? You can use the chat to share. Record minutes, maintains the meeting details. Yes. What else do you think this MIS report? Yes, something which corporate members do a lot. Yes, that's true. What else do you think a secretary does? All right. Support other ExCom members, uploads the executive committee elected members' names. That's an interesting thing. Record keeping. So secretary role is all about ensuring the records are well maintained. Anything which the club requires, it is documented, it is there. And this record maintenance is not just of their year, even sometimes past. I remember the secretary of our club for Goregaon speakers. They had to maintain the records of the charter process, charter certificates, because all these documents were crucial when we were trying to open a bank account. Apart from that, anywhere you interact, these documents is very crucial. So you need to maintain all the records. Apart from that, you also ensure that you record the minutes of the meeting, be it the club executive meetings or the club meetings which happen in general. Once one of my mentees who had taken up the role asked me that what else I can do as a secretary, because I'm maintaining the records of the meeting, I'm ensuring that I'm approving the levels of the members who are submitting over the portal. But what else I can do? The minutes of the meeting which you write, that helps you develop your writing skills. Are you able to summarize your meeting in an effective manner? Are you able to effectively summarize whatever has happened? Able to figure out those key moments or key instances which happened during the meeting and put it down in the minutes of the meeting for anyone who has not been part of it to gain an idea what happened. Are you have the ability to create that FOMO, that something you must have missed which happened through your writing skills so that the members are more interested to attend next time? So these are the couple of questions I had asked my mentee and they worked upon it and the minutes of the meeting got much better. They were able to add some puzzles. They were able to create different kinds of elements and interaction activity with word of the day. And that helped to create an engagement medium with the members who were reading the minutes of the meeting. So it's a role which is having lots of scope. So if you wish to master your skill of summarizing, understanding what are the key points, as well as ensuring that that medium, which is a reading medium, can be used to engage your fellow club members. That's a skill which you can learn, and that will help you because these skills are very effective when you're writing your speech. Because over there, you also need to ensure the key moments which are there. Because once you can write something better, you can prepare that better to be spoken or delivered in front of an audience. So always remember this particular role helps you learn a lot of different aspects about writing. It's not just simple taking minutes, but also understanding what are the key points, what are the things which you need to highlight. So anyone looking forward to inculcate the skill of mastering the art of summarizing anything within that one single page document or maybe two-page document, you can take up that particular role. I remember, you wouldn't believe there was this one MOM which I had seen. The entire meeting was designed on a blackboard, whiteboard, and the person used marker to design characters, doodle it out. And the entire thing was recorded in a fast forward mode, which means they doodled out the entire meeting because the theme was doodle and they used that theme to doodle the entire minutes of the meeting and fast forward that. It became a video MOM, which was lovely to see that how creativity came into being. So the secretary role is something which you can experiment, you can try to innovate and try to figure out. So break the momentum, break the norms, and see what else you can do. So all these different roles helps us try to be creative. So the roles which we do, we always feel that there is a set of guidelines which are there. Yes, those set of guidelines is the responsibilities which you need to discharge. But you can always think what innovative aspect you can do, what extra you can add. So do not think of these roles as just some leadership opportunity. Think of it as what extra you can add into that role. Can you add your flavor to it? Make it exciting. So that's all about the secretary role. Yes, Saishri mentioned he's the base camp manager. He used to be the base camp manager. Now, since all the club officers have the access in the revised version of the base camp. But yes, back then there was a time when the secretary used to be the one who used to be able to approve the levels. A lot of times VP education used to figure out as to how should I approve my levels? Because not many people were aware that secretary has the responsibility of approving the levels. That is something which is there. Let's look at the next role, which is the Vice President of Public Relations, a role which I never wished to do. In fact, the first time I was assigned this role, I wanted to go as far as possible. I said, I'm just taking it because no one else is doing it. Because I was not good at drawing. I was not good at creating flyers. In fact, in schools also, I ensured that my creative aspects is done by some other person. But this was a role which was thrusted upon me. And today, I am someone who loves that role the most. Till I had not taken the Vice President Public Relation, I used to love the Surgeon at Arms role. But once I've taken the VPPR role, this is the role which I am really fond of. It helps you learn so many different skills. You learn how to brand yourself, which is a very crucial thing in the current age. It's not just a skill which you need for your club or your members, but a skill which you need in your professional life, personal life. If you're starting any endeavors, that is the skill which you need. Brand it in the right way. Are you able to present yourself? Second, it also helped me learn skills like designing, able to use those things for creative aspects. When in virtual medium, we all started in, I would be able to use those skills to have word of the day in the background, maybe create a background where the word of the day is there so that it's right visible. Ability to utilize the screen, creating things while giving presentations or even demonstrating during speeches. So that is the role which helped me learn these different skills. But the very interesting aspects or the parts which I love about this role, first, The VPPR is someone who engages with everyone. You not only maintain the social media, but you engage with everyone. You will get an opportunity to interact with people across the world because that's what pandemic gave. It thinned the borders, which were geographical borders, and helped us transcend our learning. We were able to interact with members across the world. And that's what the role is all about. How much you can reach out. Second thing which you can learn is the creativity, inspiration. You will see members designing colorful posters, brilliant ideas, simple things presented in such ways which makes you think, okay, this is also which can be done. That role helps you get inspired, you feel a lot motivated. The third thing which the VPPR does is you figure out what your club's unique point is. What is that one aspect which your club does really well? What is that one aspect of the culture which your club has created which stands unique? And that is something which you can show it to the world, wherein you can invite people. So these are the three things which I have learned from this role. Anyone in the house who has done VPPR? Preeti, Prathamesh is currently doing yes. Preeti, what was that one thing which you felt you could never learn or did not expect that you learn from this role?
So at a personal level, I'm a little more to myself. I don't like to do publicity about myself, but as soon as I took up the VPPR, there was a need of the time when I joined the club, because of the then VPPR had to get transferred. So I did not have a Facebook or any of the accounts till day. Uh, I had to open that one for the sake of the club, because one post I'll do on the club's ID, and then I'll go and like it from my own personal ID. So that was to promote the club. And I realized that tagging and so many things that I never did because I was not personally so involved into branding and so much. I started doing it because I took that role. So that was a change in me.
Thanks, Preeti. Indeed. Even I started designing flyers. If you would have seen the flyers, currently you must have seen the district flyers, a lot of them which I've designed are a lot more polished. But the initial ones which I started, you would see them, it is all looks like someone who is very new has designed. But that was the learning journey which happened for me. So if you are planning to take up this role, do not worry. There are a lot of things to do in the VPPR role, but you need to focus on 3 to 4 things or maybe 2 things which you wish to do in that particular tenure. If you have 6 months, figure out 2 aspects which you want to work upon, one for the club, one for the self, and get involved in both of them so that you are able to deliver at the best. If you have bandwidth, try to take more. But the world of VPPR is vast. There are so many things. When I became VPPR, I just knew about flyers and social media. As I interacted with other VPPRs, I learned there is newsletter. You can brand the members. You can brand about your club. You can engage into PR drives. You can do podcasts. You can do so many different activities. You can create websites for it. So that role itself is dynamic and it teaches you so many different things. Social media manager, website developer, podcaster, newsletter editor, you name it. And these are the different hats you get to wear as a VPPR. And also VPPR, every role which is their club officer, you need to ensure that you prepare a successor. You prepare someone who can step into your shoes once you move out of the role. Because every role in Toastmasters has this 3 phase. First, curiosity to volunteer and get involved. Second, you have a vision, you try to do certain things, you try to figure out what's your limit. Third, you move into a mentoring phase wherein you are mentoring someone else. So these are 3 different phases of any club officer or club leadership role, which all of us go through. The first one, curiosity, helps us understand what different opportunities are there for us in Toastmasters. Because a lot many times people may not tell you these are the things available. If you're curious about these roles, you'll get to explore these opportunities. Second, when you get involved, you learn those skills. You may not, someone must have learned some different skill by doing this role. You may learn something else. Toastmasters is a skills laboratory. You get so many different skills by doing this. Third, once you start mentoring, You get into that phase, okay, you can mentor anyone on any different aspects. We always feel that we can only mentor someone which we are good with. No, you learn that art that yes, I can mentor anyone on any aspect of club leadership roles. So that's all about the VPPR. Let's move ahead. I had seen a lot of messages related to VP membership, which is Vice President of Membership. Overview of this role is three things. You interact with the guests, you get them to your club meeting, you ensure that they become Toastmasters, they join your club. Third, you interact with your club members, ensuring that they are continuing their journey and they actively participate. These are the three rough responsibilities which you will find it in the club leadership handbook when you will read. Who all have done VP membership over here? Anyone? Anyone who has done VP membership role? All right. Not many hands. So that is something which you all can really explore. I got involved in the VP membership role to figure out that when I heard about Toastmasters, I was excited. I wanted to immediately join. But I learned that there are many times, a lot of members come, but they're not interested to join. What is this reason? They show that interest first, but then they don't join. So I was very curious about this aspect, and that's why I took the role of VP membership. And it helped me learn that everyone has different expectations, everyone has different opinions and different perspectives. Expectations, opinions, and perspectives. All these three things vary. And when you interact, you broaden your mindset. You learn different expectations. Okay, this is what people can expect. And you strive to be able to do that or enable it. You learn that your perspectives can change. There are a lot of things which will happen. And you start to embrace them. So anytime when you are I realized once I had done the VP membership role, I became a lot more confident with accepting different perspectives, engaging into those discussions. It helped me in my professional space. I was able to hear a lot of different ideas, figure out, okay, these are the different things which are there on my board, which one we can work upon, able to prioritize them. So that's the role of VP membership. And for my personal learning, I believe it helped me broaden my mindset, learn to value other perspectives, and figure out what can be prioritized and how we can work together as a team. So VP membership is all about that because every kind of people you will get to interact. There will be someone who is a lot more experienced than you in life, and you will get to learn something just from the interaction. You will be able to make connections, which you may be able to collaborate with them in Toastmasters or in your professional life. You will be able to figure out why people join Toastmasters. And that is something which helps one achieve two things. First, grow your club. Second, become a good mentor. Because the time you realize this is what people require, you are able to tune your actions to achieve it. So that's the role of VP membership, as we call. Definitely, you might heard people talk it about as equivalent to a sales or marketing person. Yes, that's true. But that's a skill which we should all learn because these skills is not just about pitching Toastmasters. It's also about pitching yourself. If you attend an interview, you would figure out, like sometimes they ask you, right, why we should hire you. That's the time when this particular skill will help you bring the best. So this is a skill which you learn. Every club officer role helps you learn some aspect which you can incorporate in your professional life. And that's why these leadership roles are crucial. So do not hesitate. If you feel that it's a 6 months commitment, go for it. If you have that kind of time bandwidth, understand. Understand from your club previous leader who is already existing in the role, how much time do you need to contribute? Is it a lot more hours which you think, or it is something less? And if that is something which you can volunteer for, why not? Take the chance, take that leap of faith. The VP education role, I believe many of you must have done because I've seen some of you in the VP education role. A raise of hands quickly, who all have done VP education role? Arvind has done, Shubhayan has done, Preeti has done. Nice. Let's hear from Arvind. What is that one thing which you learned you never felt you could have learned from that particular role before taking that role? Arvind, over to you.
Yeah. The first thing is planning, because as VP education, we have to plan ahead for all the meeting, for assigning all the roles and speakers. And second thing is about handling risk, and because there are lot of times the last minute cancellations. So how to handle those difficult situations. So I think that skill is very crucial, and that
Yes.
skill I learned in VP education,
Thank you, Arvind.
managing
Indeed,
this.
the last minute backouts, the last minute changes, those moments wherein you need to quickly make a decision during the meeting or just before 11th hour of the meeting, these are the skills which you learn as the VP education. The VP education is someone who ensures that the communication, the curriculum, or the meeting culture which is there at your club is best. The experience which you are delivering is the best. You are creating opportunities and challenges for your members so that they can step out of their comfort zone. They can break those glass ceilings and grow and transform themselves. But apart from this, the other aspect which you do is during how to take those difficult decisions, instant thoughts. That skill is very crucial. So the VP education is someone who manages the club curriculum, but they also learn the skills of ensuring how to be quick and how to take those last minute decisions and deliver the best. Finally, the president. It sounds really cool, the president of the club. You feel proud to take that role. But the president is someone, the captain of the ship. If the captain is not there and if they are not aware of their scope of responsibilities or the different roles which are there, what exactly it happens, it becomes difficult to lead a team. As a president, you learn the best ways to motivate your team. And that is a skill which is very crucial in your professional journey. Because if you aspire to lead a team and delegate responsibilities, then this at Toastmasters, you can take a precedent. Because this is a place where you can practice it, you can refine your skill, and then in your real world wherein you are leading a team, you can deliver the best. A president does a lot of things we don't come to know. They manage conflicts, they resolve differences of opinions. So you learn these skills which are very crucial. These are the people skills, interpersonal skills. You must have seen that core competencies in pathways document, right? There's something called as interpersonal. The president is that leadership role wherein you develop this skill or you fine tune it to the max. So dear Toastmasters, we have heard all different roles and I've shared with you all the experiences which I had in the learnings. I've done almost all the roles in some or other capacity, maybe for some time or maybe while mentoring a member who has done it. But I've also interacted with other club leaders across the world when they are doing these roles. So if you become a club officer or a club leader, you deliver what is planned for your club, but try to interact with other members. You'll get a lot of creative ideas, you'll get a lot of different things which you can try it out and bring the best experience for the club members. So these were the different 7 roles which we have and what we can learn from it. And what is that one skill which you can learn from it and incorporate in your professional life, be it in a corporate or something which you are doing on your own, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a freelancer. All these skills are relevant. And these are the skills, if you see the soft skills report by LinkedIn or by any other, these skills are at top. And we get such an environment, a supportive place wherein we can practice these skills. So why not grab the opportunity and take it up? Quickly, we will touch upon a few other aspects which I feel I had read through a couple of Toastmasters articles and I felt this is very relevant. So one thing it mentioned that you build the art of being empathetic and understanding other people. As a club leader, you develop that skill. Because a lot of times we feel that I myself felt I was a very analytical person, but these leadership roles helps you learn that thing and get a balance between the analytical capabilities as well as the leadership part. The second thing which I said, experimental learning, the creative part, the innovations which you can add. You can experiment. a best place to experiment. Over here, if you fail, it's fine. There is the supportive club environment which will help you back to be in the game. So do not worry. So experimental learning is possible. Self-esteem you can boost. A lot of time we feel that, are we really good? Are we the best? Taking these leadership roles helps us build that confidence and self-esteem. We can, after this role, transform ourselves and take up a lot more challenging tasks in future. So do ensure that you take it up. And finally, club leadership is something which teaches you the value which we are all abiding by, the value of service, because all these leadership roles are servant leadership. So you understand how the service which you deliver to your club members, to the community, transcends and helps you break new grounds in your life. So I hope you all got a lot of different insights, what you can work upon. If you wish to read about these roles, the Club Leadership Handbook is really an excellent guide. It gives you exact responsibilities. Today, I try to share it from more an experience perspective because these roles, the responsibilities are documented. A lot of times when we hear from someone else what were their experiences, we can explore and volunteer to experience something similar or maybe something else. So do volunteer in your club, take up these roles. In case if you do not become part of these roles, do not feel that your journey has stopped. There are a lot of ways wherein you can support these role players in your club. You can be a buddy, you can be a mentor. So ensure that you are some or other way associated with these roles and keep trying to learn and experiment. Because Toastmasters, the skill laboratory where it is, experimentation, if you do, you keep learning, both as a communicator and as a leader. If you have any questions and queries, we will take it up. If anyone has very specific thing which they would like to share, we can be here, we are there on the call. We can share that. Any unique learning experience which you had, the floor is open for you. Any questions, anyone? Yes, Praveen.
Hey, Akshay. I understand that there might be few people who might be taking up an ExCom role for the first time, or someone who might be taking up a new ExCom role for the first time altogether. Wanted to understand, considering that the Toastmasters platform is itself, including the ExCom roles, is a volunteer sort of a role. One of the things that most people are hesitant to take up any role is understanding the time investment that will be required behind every ExCom role, and to be told there is a time investment that is required. Would it be possible for you to just at a very, very high level provide what according to you would be the bare minimum time investment every role requires or demands, in order for not only a person but also the club to be more striving and be successful?
Sure. So I would share something which I was part of TCS club. There was this one member who used to attend all the meetings, okay, but never came up on the stage to deliver any kind of speech. And I became a lot curious as to what exactly the member gains. So I asked, and the member said that I just come here to observe. I renew membership after membership and come here to observe. And that's what all I wish to learn from this particular time. So you decide how much time you wish to invest. For that member, it was just that 1.5 hour of meeting. No preparation, nothing, just 1.5 hour Friday morning. You come to the meeting, be there and go back. Similarly, all these different roles which are there, you decide how much time you wish to invest, what exactly you want to focus on. The surgeon at arms, if you believe that only I will work one day before to understand the requirements from members, what do they need, and then during the meeting, be there half an hour early to set it up. That's it. So you're just delivering that minimum if 1.5 hour meeting, you're hardly delivering 2 to 3 hours in the entire week. Treasurer only during budgeting or maybe some expense. So rarely across the week, you might be delivering 1 or 2 hours. Secretary, just preparing that minutes of the meeting if you are doing and delivering the best. It's hardly a task of 2 or 3 hours, not more than that. VP membership, you have a club who is there. There are a lot of members. You can delegate, you can ask a couple of guests, you do the initial discussion, you fix up a time that on Saturdays, morning 10 to 2, I will interact with the guests. These are the 4 hours which I will dedicate to completely speaking to the guests and inform them in advance that this is the time which I'm available and we can interact. Try to figure out the schedule. In case if it is not working, try to assign it to someone else. I remember one of the VP memberships who was there. They had said that Akshay, for me, weekdays are very difficult. So in GSC itself, they used to assign on weekdays any guest who wished to speak to me. And I used to take some time from my office schedule and speak to those members. So you can find out people from your club and assign them. Figure out a schedule for yourself and deliver that time. VP education, establish a process. You can then streamline a lot of things. If you feel that there is a lot of interactions, you have to convince people, have mentees, buddies, so that they can also interact with them and figure out the time. So the minimum VP education, I would say, would take half an hour also. If you give every day, then the meeting can be fruitful. The president, same, half an hour you give every day and then that's it. So the minimum time is very less. But how much more you want to involve yourself is up to you. So the best experience which a club can give can be achieved with the minimum time. If you want to strive for more, then that much more you get involved. So time is never something. I also used to earlier feel that there would be a lot of time which needs to be invested. But as over the years, I have taken up various roles. Yes, certain roles gets demanding and it requires you to invest more time. But then when you take it up, you are aligned. Yes, this is the role which I'm going to do. And for 6 months, I'll be investing this much time extra apart from my regular club meeting. So if you fix up those time, it is possible. And it is not necessary that what you have decided initially, that's the exact thing. You can keep changing every month. Try to experiment with different bandwidth of time and see what you can achieve. There are 6 months to experiment. And no one wants you to be the best at the first. Every club has its own excellence. There is a club, if you ask me, they have never achieved more than 5 DCP. For them, the 5 DCP itself is the excellence which they strive for. They don't want to go beyond it. There is a club which ensures that they do meeting only once in the entire month. And one meeting they have just for discussion among their members, mentors and mentees. They break out into Zoom meeting room and they just have their discussions. So it depends upon us as to how much we are wanting to get involved. What is the right fit for our club? I remember one of the speakers' speech. What is the best right fit for yourself? Figure that out and then be integral to that thing that, yes, this is the time which I fixed and yes, this is what I will deliver or I will get involved. Some days it may happen that you have certain other tasks, some emergencies come, there are changes, it's fine. Life keeps moving forward, so we adjust accordingly. It's a no hardcore. So a lot of times what happens, like the president says, you said to me that you will give me 3 hours, but you're not able to deliver. No worries. Maybe some things have changed. Rediscuss, reprioritize, and figure out what would be the right time which you wish to give further.
Thank you, Akshay.
There is this one secretary who spends almost 8 hours. So I had asked them, what do they do? They said that they have a couple of clubs they have targeted because she loved their MOMs. She used to read their MOMs, figure out what is the best and include everything in her MOM. So it was her personal thing which she wanted to do. No one wanted that aspect, but it is from her side. So you figure out what you wish to put into. Can VPA take up crucial decisions on behalf or absence of club president? Yes. If your club president is not there, the next role in the hierarchy of club leadership, yes, it's the club VP education, and you can take up anything which is possible as a decision, right? There are a lot of times that any decision which impacts the members needs to be voted by the club members. Any decision which is short term and impacting the club executive officers, or it is something which is just impacting right now. Maybe a role player is missing and you have to assign the role to someone else. President is not there, VP education can take the call. VP education, president, both are not there, VP membership can take the call. So such decisions are fine. But say, for example, you have a decision wherein you want to add an additional day to your meeting. You are already meeting 4 days in a month, but you want to add an additional online meeting in Saturday. That is something which you can discuss with the clubs, understand if they are consenting to it, and then take up that activity. So you figure out what decisions impact the major members, what decisions is just in that moment, and accordingly take the call. I hope I answered your question, Devesh. Anyone else? Anything else you wish to?
Preeti has raised her hand.
Yes, Preeti.
I just wanted to add here sometimes people feel overwhelmed while taking the roles. So, what we follow as a practice, just wanted to share that in case that helps. So, when our club was very new, this was not possible because we're a very small number of people. But later on, when we started having more people and there was, more number of nominations, what we did was one person gets elected, but then we would announce a team of members. Suppose VPPR, they have to create a lot of posters and they have to do announcements. A new member comes, we make an announcement that hey, Akshay has joined. Let's welcome Akshay. So something written about him with a poster and birthday posters and so on. So what we did is we would have a committee VPPR committee within the club. In the same way, Sergeant at Arms would invite committee members so that if that person is not available, somebody else who is within that team can take up that role. And also, that way, we are nurturing new leaders within the team so that they are ready for the next term. So that one person doesn't get burnt out completely and exhausted. And at the same time, they trust and they have a good camaraderie to form a team, and then they are in the making for the next term.
So having a team is always helpful. So in clubs, I've seen wherein there are a lot of members who volunteer for a role, right? One person gets elected, but then they form the team with all the other members and have them as associate role or buddies. And one thing which we need to understand is when we have taken a role, we are accountable for it. You may have a team of buddy, but it is not necessary that they will always be there for you because they have volunteered for that role as a buddy. You
Yeah.
are at the end accountable. They are helping hands. So ensure that
Yes.
you deliver the right responsibilities and you are engaged in that particular manner. I had seen one club wherein they had a team of 6 buddies, and I spoke to and understood only the buddies do the work. The lead doesn't. So let's not have
Yeah.
those kinds of scenarios.
Very true. So, in other words, we are accountable. We have taken up buddies, but we are not outsourcing it to the buddies.
Anyone else? What is the duration of maintaining club official records such as minutes, account statements, agendas? You can decide for your club, Divesh. Ideally, what we do is for 5 years. That's the minimum you should maintain. But there are clubs which have maintained across all the documents are there since inception. The clubs which 20 years of history and they have all the records since that inception period or the charter date. Because usually the financial statements of clubs we do audit and then it gets recorded. If you ask for my club, we have audit reports of all the terms and it's documented over a drive.
Please explain the role of secretary and what good as best possible ways you can do as a secretary.
Sure, Janil. So secretary role, as we said, right, it's wherein you record minutes of the meeting. You ensure you summarize the meeting. for our club members or maybe someone else. Sometimes guests also, you can share it with them. This is what happened. And that role, what best can be done? You need to ensure that whichever meeting has happened, it has been summarized. It can either be a one-page document, you are just listing out what all role players were involved and key highlights. It depends upon you as to what, because that role helps you practice your writing skills. So you have to write about the meeting and share. So that's the best which you can deliver. So the role is all about ensuring the meetings are summarized and made available to the members. That's the basic definition, or you can say basic responsibility of the secretary. What more you can do, you can keep exploring. You can try to ask in the community what other secretaries are doing. You will see a couple of secretaries design the entire document over Canva. There are certain secretaries which record bytes of their speakers and everything is released in a proper video documented format. So it depends where you want to invest your time, what kind of skills you wish to learn and practice. But be consistent. Whatever you start with, ensure that minimum is delivered.
I just want to know about the thing which you tell about levels. I didn't get that.
Think
And
about levels.
yes, we can upgrade the level or something was like that. The basic thing I understood about
Yeah.
secretary, but the I think you told about secretary only that some levels you have to update the levels.
Okay. So that is the role which earlier was there as part of base camp manager. So you could approve the levels of your club members. So the education levels which you complete, when you submit it in the portal, earlier two members used to be able to update or approve it, VP education and secretary. Now it is applicable to all the 7 club officers. Anyone can approve it. Only you can't do it for yourself. You have to get another officer to approve the level. So these are the levels which get approved and then it reflect in your education journey as well as it also reflects on the club dashboard. So that was a role earlier which was confined to secretary and VP education because both of them were the base camp managers. Now all the club officers are the base camp managers.
Akshay, I had a question.
Yes, Prathamesh.
So how do you build consensus in the entire XCOM team? I saw that there is a method called the Robert Rules of Order or Robert Rules of Parliamentary Affair mentioned in the club leadership handbook. So how do you apply that? Do clubs still use it in our district? And how
Yes.
much executive power does a club officer have, and how much he has to rely on consensus of the entire XCOM and the club?
See, whichever decision is impacting the entire club on a major level, right? That is something which you need to conduct a business meeting, get it approved by all the majority of the members, and that's the decision. For example, increase in the club membership fees. That is a decision which will impact everyone. So you need to present it before the members, get the consensus of all. You members will vote, and if it gets qualified, then you will go ahead. You will get an ample of opportunity to explain why you as a club leader feel that needs to be done. But then it is up to the members to approve it and then impact it. For example, in case there is a decision wherein you have been doing 4 meetings in a month. Now, as a VP education, you feel that 2 meetings I will have the regular structure, which is speakers, table topics, and general evaluation. 2 other meetings I will have, say, something else. Maybe I'll do a debate or I'll do something else. Now, this is the decision which the club officers among themselves can take because they have been responsible and they have been given that right that you plan the club meeting, you plan the curriculum, you plan what we will do. So, as an officer, you have that role. So, you figure out among the club officers. So, that is a decision which you take along with the club officers. Everyone among the 7 members can vote and decide. Let's say, for example, during the meeting as a VP education, you find out there is a member who is not yet arrived and you want to assign it to someone else. That's a decision which you as a VP education can instantly take. You do not need consensus of anyone because that is impacting that meeting or that duration itself. So any decision which you feel is only going to impact in that duration is something which you can take on your own. Any decision which you feel with the administrative or the roles responsibilities part is there, you take it among the club officers. Any decision which impacts all the members, and it is something which you have been not given explicitly the responsibility, you need to take a explicit business meeting. For example, no one says which role is responsible to decide the club membership fee. That is something which impacts everyone. So we take it as a business meeting. As a VP education, you have been given the right to plan the meeting structure. So that is a decision we take among the officers. During the meeting, a member is not available. That is a decision which you need to take instantly so that you decide on your own. And Robert's rule, as they say, you can refer those guidelines. You can maybe educate your members as well, what exactly it means and how they have their responsibilities, how they can exercise their rights is very crucial. So you can explain it to them and then they can be incorporated. So a lot of clubs, they have a parliamentarian. So the district has a parliamentarian when they do any kind of meeting, and the parliamentarian guides them on the parliamentary procedures. In club, we do not have explicitly this role, but yes, if you wish to create, you can ask someone to go through those documents, understand what it is there, and take it as a call. A lot of clubs, even for changing their meeting times, certain clubs decide within the club officers, but certain clubs go ahead and ask their members. Ideal way, you go ahead and ask your members because this is impacting everyone. So such is the ways you can take up decisions. And at times you may find that some decision which you have taken, someone will question that, why have you taken this decision without informing us? You can take back within the ExCom, and if you feel that we need to hold a business meeting, go ahead and do it. I hope I
Is
answered
there
your
a
question.
particular, yeah, I'll have a small follow-up. Is there a particular way of conducting a business meeting, or should we consult with the district parliamentarian?
No, so you can
No.
conduct the business meeting on your own. The same way the elections are held, right? You gather every member. There would be items on the agenda since the president is the chair of the meeting. They will share that these are the few things which have come up, which we need to discuss. You can ask someone to propose it, why they feel that decision needs to be implemented. You can ask someone to second it and then give context to it, and then you can go for a voting. This is the simple procedure which any club follows. Now, there are certain clubs wherein they ask the members for first. So I had met this club in Chennai. They do a business meeting every 3 months. Okay, default, nothing on agenda. They will still share it with the club members. They will have a list of all the officers who will present their report, how the district does it. They will present the report, what all has happened in the VPPR, what all has happened with VP education, and anything else which the club wishes to discuss, you can submit it to the president. And then it is taken up in those meetings. So you can even follow that procedure. That is how district does it. So that club follows the similar procedure in their club. So every 3 months they do a meeting wherein they present the budget, they present the finance expenditure which has happened, all the reports are presented. So that is how they do. So you can fix up a
This process,
culture within your group and then follow it.
so this process we can even follow it in the ExCom meetings also.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that.
Yes, Janil, any further questions?
I have been in Toastmasters since few months and I have not attended any elections yet. So I'm standing for secretary. Now I have some gossips that there is another Toastmaster in our club who is there for secretary. So how can I convince people to vote me? What are the limits of convincing? How much is there any I want to know about how can I convince people about to vote me, and the second thing, what are the limits till I can convince, and the third is what things are which is not seemed as a good for convincing, like things which I can't do, where you like as a Indian you see like in Indian politics what happens is there is no limit of bad politics. So there I don't know about Toastmasters, but I'm sure that there was some standards which have been laid during past elections. So what are those standards that you can't fall on such categories?
All right. So Janil will answer this question step by step. The very first thing is, in case if you are standing up for the secretary role in your club, right? There is this club leadership committee which appoints a nomination chair who you submit your nomination, then they conduct an interview process and then they release a slate. So have you submitted your nomination for the club secretary? Has that thing been done?
No, it will be done in tomorrow's meeting.
Okay. So there is a process which is followed. If you go and read this document, Club Leadership Handbook, okay, what you need to do is it's very simple. I'll share my screen. If someone can give me sharing rights. So there is this document called as Club Leadership Handbook Toastmasters. You just type it, you'll get the first link. You open it, this link, and you will get to see the election procedure. So for example, the things which are there, right? So page number 49 is wherein club officer elections. You can read this and check if these procedures have been followed in the club or not. If not, you can ask the club president or the club officers to please ensure that this process is followed. So everything is detailed, documented over here. The election process, election frequency, and ensure that whenever you are pitching for your role, we all abide by three things. First, the Toastmasters core values, which is integrity, respect, service, and excellence. None of them should be breached. Second, Toastmasters promise. There is something like that. Please go ahead and refer to that. Ensure all of them are followed. Third, we do not engage in anything wherein we are going to say ill about any other candidate. We just practice it that yes, what are our achievements and why we wish to do the role. That's what you can share with the members. You can ask the nomination committee that are you allowed to reach out to the members one-to-one? If yes, go ahead and give them a call in the club, explaining them why you should be elected by them for that particular role. Another thing is, are you allowed? So a lot of clubs follow this procedure wherein they allow the members who have nominated to share a post about their nomination. So check if your club is allowing you to do that, then you can share a post in the group so that members get to see, okay, this is why you are going for the role. After that, during the election, you will have a 2-minute speech, which each of the candidates will get. Post that the voting happens. So in that 2-minute speech, you can express your intention, your vision, and why you are the right fit for that particular role. These are the things which the guidelines suggest, which you can do. And these are the things which you should follow and abide by as a Toastmaster. I hope I answered your question, Jenny.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. All right. I believe we have crossed 90 minutes. Any more follow-up questions? You have my number in the chat. You can always reach out.
Can I get the document which you displayed and the Toastmaster promise?
All right. The club leadership handbook I've also shared in the chat. Toastmasters promise also I've shared in the chat. You can refer these documents. It will give you an insight of the roles, responsibilities, how the procedure happens, what are the guidelines to be followed. I believe I had seen Swati raising her hand in the initial start that yes, she is less than 6 months. So Swati, are you feeling motivated and inspired to take up some role as a club leader?
Yeah, Akshay. Yeah, actually, I have nominated myself for secretary role this time. So I was curious to know what are the responsibilities in it. This was a really wonderful session. Thank you, Akshay, for this. It gave me the insights into the responsibilities of all the other roles as well. Thank you so much.
All right then, everyone, happy weekend. Any queries, you have my number in the chat. You can reach out. Thank you, Praveen and Prathamesh, as well as all the members of Dombivli for inviting me. And
Thank
back
you.
to you.
Just before handing over the stage to Toastmaster Prathamesh, Akshay, I can't thank you enough for always helping us out and being a pillar of strength. It's not always that a person as busy as you, it just needed one, one quick face to face connect, and the sentence was as simple, as short, and as to the point as I could get. Akshay, we wanted to conduct a education session on XCOM roles. Will you be able to take it? Yes, that's it. End of the conversation. I loved it. And thank you very much, Akshay, for always being the pillar of strength and helping us out in our need.
Anytime.
Prathamesh, over to you.
Yes, I second what you said, Praveen. And that was the thing, the insight I gathered, that when it comes to Akshay, he always brings the entire database. I knew that whatever is needed for the club executive committee roles, he must have mastered that and he knew the subject very well. At the same time, another highlight that he brings is his creativity, his innovation. That is always something that inspires me. That whenever I do my role, I always think, okay, this is how he functions. So let me also try this something new in my role. And he clearly demonstrated that. And thank you so much for us, for being from all of us, for coming here, being part of our small club and conducting this education session, and the recordings, which will be like a guiding light for all the members and the executive committee members in the future. So thank you so much. With that, gratitude from all the guests who attended, and from all behalf of all the members of Dombivli Toastmasters, thank you. And I end this meeting.
Thank you so much, Akshay. Thank
Thank
you,
you, everyone.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Akshay.
Thank you. Do share the recording with me also.
Sure.
Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you. Ramesh, you can stop the recording.